Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports Show for October 31st. How is everyone doing? My name is Erik. I'm the man behind Etoft21sports. We have an absolutely phenomenal show lined up for you today. My boy, Johnny, a.k.a. at Tahoe Better. He is this week's special guest. Him and I are going to look back at week 8, share our week 9 bets, and as always, Gino will have his horse racing bet of the day. But before we jump into all that, we need to say thank you to today's sponsor, Thrive. If you're not using Thrive, make sure to download the app and use promo code ETOFT214. 100% deposit match. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click that link below to watch. Now, without further ado, let's see what Gino has a cooking for us over at the Breeders' Cup.
It's Breeders' Cup week, so let's look ahead because the entries are already out for the Breeders' Cup Friday and Saturday. I'm actually going to be joining Erik on Thursday for more of a deep dive into the Breeders' Cup, but I'll give you one horse that I like over the few days that I think will run really, really well. So we're going to look on the Saturday Breeders' Cup card. Remember, Friday and Saturday both are Breeders' Cup days, and if you need any help, past performances, any help with betting selections, get to drf.com. I've been lucky to be out on track most of the week early in the mornings, checking out a lot of the horses train and work out. And I'm going to go to race number 10. We're going to go to the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint on Saturday. And these turf sprint races generally have a ton of speed, and they are going really fast early. You know, Caravel wants to be right up and close to the lead. Tony Ann is very fast. Live in the Dream might be the fastest of all of them in the field early on, but they're going to all be pressing each other along with No Balls, along with one or two others, even from the outside, who have some more speed. So I'm looking for a closer, and the horse who I've really been waiting for this race is Motorious. I've been following along with him for a while. He's a deep closer, but he loves turf sprints. 5 furlongs, 5.5, all the way up to 6.5. He came flying at 5 furlongs last time out late, and I just think he's going to get the incredible setup once again in here. The number 10, Motorious, in race number 10 on Saturday, the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
Make sure to give my boy Gino a follow at It's Me, Gino B. I'm going to be on his podcast, which comes out on Friday. We're going to go game by game for the NFL. And he's coming on my podcast, which comes out this Friday, and he's going to share his best bets. We're going to go on Bookmaker, do the head-to-head matchups. Anyone that knows me knows I love the head-to-head matchups on these big race days. Now, I am very excited to welcome a new friend to the show. Got to know this guy over the last 10, 14 days. Cool dude, out from Oaktown, my boy Johnny, a.k.a. Tahoe Better. Let's welcome him to the show. Johnny, how you doing today, my man?
Hey, I'm doing well. How about yourself? Go Lions, right? Big win off the last night there.
Big win. You know, I don't know. This is kind of like how can I word this? I'm not familiar with having my team be successful.
Right. Yeah. Especially when you kind of wake up and you see it steaming down to 7 from original like 8, and kind of like that whole vibe of the line, I guess you could say as well, because you know it looked like the Chargers easily covered. So it's like, okay, we got back-to-back primetime favorites are going to happen, right? It's kind of one of those superstitious things that kind of happen, especially in the NFL with the spreads.
Now we have a couple questions. Sports backs, CMU going to blow this for us? I don't know, man. Maybe. Bobby chimes in. I'm a big MSU guy. My MSU hiring Meyer, Uncle Rico, LOL. No, they're not. They're not going to hire Urban Meyer. I'm going to tell you this. This will be a disaster amongst disasters if they hire Urban Meyer. Are you a big college football guy, Johnny?
Oh, definitely. College football is actually probably my better sport than NFL lately. I mean, I'm firing. I'm 49-22 and won here up to almost 23.5 units basically this season alone in college football. So yeah, I did Michigan State. I actually did take them against Minnesota, just a small personal play. I didn't really post that one. It's kind of like one of those leans I was looking at through in the week. But yeah, I definitely
they should have covered that game. I
mean,
the inside kick was just boneheadish. I don't know, like Mel Tucker got fired for allegedly sexually harassing somebody. Now you're bringing in Urban Meyer with his track record.
He's basically gonna bring that same culture.
Matt chimes in. First thoughts on Will Levis. What did you think? He looks out. Matt chimes in.
Yeah,
what do you think of Will?
It's so tough in the NFL with new quarterbacks. Like, as you just saw, one looked good the week before for the Bears, and then the next week it's like, it's kind of like they studied film on him more and stuff like that, and he's not even that great coming from a small college to begin with and stuff like that. So it's tough. You have those outliers like Allen and those kind of quarterbacks that come from these programs that you're not really thinking about that kind of come through. Will Levis, he definitely looks solid. You just need to see more sample size when it comes to these new quarterbacks. That's just how it goes. I mean, I'll never forget when I wanted to fade Robert Griffin III, his first game against the Saints back in like the day. He came out there firing, like just torched them. So, I mean, there's always going to be an outlier here and there, and some way it's going to look good, and then the next week they're just going to come back down to earth. But you just got to keep tabs on them maybe, and they might bounce back. And if they bounce back after they fall back to earth, then there's something to consider maybe.
Sports facts. What about Levis's girlfriend? She's dating the country singer. I'm not gonna lie. I know nothing about country singers or who's dating who. We're gonna get to the trade stuff real quick, but Spear22 chimes in. Thoughts on the Sweat trade? Losing a second and paying more for an extension. I'm lost. So the Bears traded a second-round pick for Sweat from the Commanders, and he's not on contract. So that basically means, what are you doing? Because the Bears, they're not going to win it. They're not going to be in the playoff contention. So you basically re-sign this guy, but what happens if you don't re-sign him? You just wasted a second-round pick, and after the whole thing with trading for Claypool, I don't know. This move doesn't really make too much sense for me unless there's one of those under-the-table deals. What do you think?
Yeah. Whenever it doesn't make sense, like to me, when I can't like figure it out, like at a surface value level with a trade or something like that, it's definitely some behind closed doors talk that like we're not in on, or there was some agreement, or, something of that regard. It seems like if it doesn't make sense, like to us, we try to keep as privy to like the league as we can. Obviously some of us aren't lucky enough to have insiders in the locker room, right? Or whatever, right? Or a beat writer that they can call on, when they hear some news that they want to confirm or not. But, I'm kind of with you there. It's probably something where it's under the table.
I hate the Lakers. 99 climbs in. Bears are clueless.
Hey, they're just in that sell. I mean, yeah, there's the teams that are kind of selling, you see, in getting rid of players, and making those moves. And unfortunately, the Bears are just that organization right now, probably. And, it's tough because they had such promise, right? Fields, like there's nobody better than Fields really right there right now, right? I mean, that guy, he's not better than Fields. No. So, you're just already looking to next year at this point, and we're the halfway point of the season. So, yeah.
Cool Kev chimes in. Tahoe, what up?
Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, I mean, everyone that I used to know on X, like, how's it going? I'll be back there as Tahoe Better. I'm there currently as Johnny-Sports41, but you can find me mainly right now on Instagram and Discord, and YouTube and Action Network as well, where I track all my picks and everything. And yeah, nice to see everyone.
Spear22, where does Washington go from now, losing their top two edge rushers? My personal thought, I'll share mine and then I'll let you go. I think Riverboat Ron is done. I think they're going to give the keys to Bieniemy, and I think they're just going to do a hard reset, and anything that has any draft value, they're going to be trading off. I mean, we need to remember they didn't give Chase Young his 5th-year option, so that was kind of hinting that they would be trading him. So that's kind of my things. I think Bieniemy is going to be taking over there.
Yeah, that organization and that team is in a sell-off mode right now. Yeah, it's just, Sam Howell at the helm. It wasn't like they were really going to go anywhere maybe this season anyway. So it kind of like that's kind of how the cookies and everything are crumbling and falling for that organization. And like you said, it's Ron's done. He's had his time. You could say, in the league. He's just one of those coaches that would be better off as just, being a defensive coordinator. Just one of those things like that, just like a Romeo Crennel kind of thing like that. But, he was better than Romeo. He lasted longer as a head coach. So, kudos to him. I love him as a man. And, yeah, I hope he just rides off in the sunset happily. NFL, family sends him on his way.
I'm just going to read over the trades real quick after I read them over. If one move sticks out to you, feel free to share. First one, Bills acquire Douglas from the Packers, DB. Lions got Donovan People-Jones. 49ers added Chase Young. Jaguars added Cleveland, the offensive lineman. Vikings got Josh Dobbs. Bears, like we just talked about, got Smart. And the Falcons got Khalil Stewart. Any of these moves kind of stick out to you? And if so, why?
I mean, not really, because the Niners getting Chase Young is kind of like just adding to the front that they already have. They're going to be great. Dobbs going to the Vikings kind of makes sense, obviously, with Cousins going down. And Jaguars, they're trying to build something there. They got an O-line, try to get an O-lineman to keep that running game. When it comes to playoff time and the weather and everything, it becomes important is the O-line and the running game, and if they're healthy. So that's a good pickup for them. Lions getting Peoples-Jones, can't go wrong there. Was he kind of coming back home, right? To the Michigan area, right? He's from UM or whatever. Yeah, nothing really, stood out where it was a real contender got this all-star, because there really wasn't really some all-star kind of in the wings waiting at a wide receiver for the Chiefs or something like that. There wasn't some big name that pickup happened, I guess you could say. So nothing surprised me.
Don Adams wasn't moved. There's no quote unquote CMC last year, no big name.
Right.
Let's make
CMC is still the biggest move, right?
The biggest move which happened last year. Let's make some money. 69 chimes in. How can the 49ers afford all these players? Cool Kev adds to the Niners is corruption.
That makes me think of back in the 90s when that old organization, I forgot their names, right? There's ties to the mafia or whatever, supposedly, I forgot the family name, DeBartolos, right? Yep. I think it was. Yeah. So that's funny how can they afford all these players still? Man, Niners. I mean, they've had a great defensive front. Now it seems since 2014 or something, I'm a Niners fan. So, it's that's how we made our bread and butter. Was our front seven was always great, and still good.
Dobbs the Vikings is desperation. Cool Kev, the last one is Sweat going to the Bears is a money grab. Basically, Belko. The name was Belko, he says.
Well, yeah, that was the organization that drugged up the players or whatever. But, yeah. What's going on now?
Now let's shift our attention to the takeaways. Those watching for the first time, we each have two takeaways. Johnny is the guest. Johnny's going to lead us off. Johnny, hit me up, man. What is your first takeaway from week 8?
It's halfway through the season. Everyone's going to overreact to the Chiefs losing maybe, or the Niners losing and stuff like that. So, it's always important to remain cognizant of not overreacting in the NFL still. And there's a lot of time left for a lot of teams with those 3-4 records and 3-5s and stuff like that, the middle of the pack teams. And so that just try to be even keeled and not thinking someone's out of it yet, kind of thing. The main takeaway was, hey, the Niners and the Chiefs lost. They were bound to lose. I'm not going to think that they're not the staples of the NFL in a sense of the best teams. But I do see the Ravens coming up. I did like what I saw from the Bengals. And it's like as soon as everyone sold the Bengals and kind of like the Ravens aren't really on the radar, anyone's radar, they're kind of right there in the thick of it. So yeah, that's kind of what I took away from the week. And just looking forward to, Jesus, it's already halfway through the season.
I know, which is crazy. Bobby chimes in. Bobby, dude, you're killing me with these CMU updates, man.
Oh no, dude, they were up 24-3 at halftime, right?
Yeah. Is Burrow back for real? C-Spear 22. What do you think? Is Burrow back for real?
I would say so. I mean, I'm not a professional doctor that knows or can say with 110% confidence that I know he's 110% healthy. But from what my eyes have seen, I don't see anything more than someone that made it to far deep in the playoffs and is probably maybe going to go far again. And that whatever the defensive coordinator that they have is going to be like a head coach maybe next year. Yeah, the Bengals, yeah, they're a sleeper.
Guy's insane. Cool, Kev. Chiefs made the sports book some money mailing it in. Hey, yeah. I got the Broncos at +8, man. I mean,
yeah, no, it was the right. I know I've been getting criticized for taking the Broncos since like whatever, they got blown out by the Dolphins by 70 points, but it's just one of those things where I'm probably up on the season now from taking the Broncos as the last couple games in a sense. And what's funny about that is everyone wants to like anoint a team because they knocked off another team, but like, you know, the Broncos are still probably the Broncos and they might not get very far still. And I'm not really worried about what I saw like happening there. Right.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing you said earlier that I hope people picked up on, it's a week-to-week league. You have to be able to kind of see what happened and kind of adjust, but also buy teams when they're at their low, sell teams when they're at their high.
Exactly. And that's what we saw with the Bengals, like definitely in a way. It's just he was playing through injury. So that's why he looked bad. That's why Burrow looked bad, really. But he's not a bad player. Like his cognitive and his athletic ability is definitely still there. Obviously, he's not a big scrambler, but he's a great core. He's definitely, say top 5, easy.
Let's make some money. Don't forget about your boy Javonte Williams. Yeah, Javonte is my boy. I love that guy. My first takeaway: Browns are a dangerous team, and people better realize once Watson gets healthy. Let's just catch a beat here. This team lost Jack Conklin, best offensive lineman for the season. Nick Chubb, best offensive lineman, done for the season. And they're starting PJ Walker, who's their third string quarterback, who got beat out by Tyler Batchett here in Chicago, and they signed off the streets. They beat the 49ers and were right there to beat Seattle if it weren't for those 3 turnovers. Speaking of turnovers, this team has some of the worst turnover luck in the league. They are -7 in turnover differential, which is the second worst. Not many teams would be sitting 4-3 with a third string quarterback starting, best offensive lineman out, best offensive playmaker out, and have the second worst turnover differential. That speaks a lot about what they have there and also about the Stefanski coaching system. This team is second DVOA in total defense, but 28th in offense. They just need Watson to get back to what he looked like versus the Titans in week 3. And this positive turnover regression, which we all know, turnovers go like this. If you start out, you get a lot. Toward the end of the season, it's going to go the other way and vice versa. This is going to be the team that's a wild card team that makes that run. I don't think they're going to win the North, but I think this is the wild card team that could make a run. If you aren't sitting on any Browns futures, I suggest you look to kind of invest in them because this is going to be a team we're going to want to be invested in come January.
That's definitely fair. It's funny because I was like looking at the Ravens, right? It's almost like there are 2 trains going to run into each other eventually here.
Takeaway 2, my friend. What are you working with?
Yeah, just kind of like what teams will build off last week's wins that were contenders, and what teams need to bounce back, to be contenders still. So kind of like 2 little takeaways from there. I would say, what teams that are contenders that need to build, like the Bengals. They need to build off that last win to maintain contender status or to be a contender more. And the Niners need to bounce back. And the Cowboys actually still obviously need to build off of their last win as well to still be kind of in that contenders maybe category in the NFC. So I definitely like the Cowboys this week. I know that's kind of but that's going to be one of my bets.
Bobby times and TD. Goddamn, Bobby TD.
Oh no!
Sports. I tweeted out. Yes, I tweeted out. I can't wait to lose my CMU money line bet because of the missed field goal from the 17. Sports Facts goes, you jinxed us with your missed field goal tweet. I probably did. Cool Tev chimes in. Raiders need to win 2 more at home to stay in contention. Raiders are an interesting thing. Josh Jacobs, in my eyes, hasn't looked good. He kind of looks slow. He's not really
something's going on there. Something is going on there. That's the O-line can't protect, and Jimmy Garoppolo's happy feet will always just do him wrong. It's a bad combination. What I saw, like in a way of, I don't know if that offense could be anything, like unless Jacobs is 100% and he's methodically in his groove and running the ball, and they have options. I mean, all you have to do is take care of Devontae Adams, and like, where are they going to go? So, I mean, I don't really see the Raiders as ending up anyway.
How would you feel if you got traded there to be with Carr? Doesn't even make it through your first season. He's gone. You know what I mean? I would be livid if that was me, if I was him. My second takeaway, and Johnny, my thing is finding big futures and investing in them. I love CJ Stroud. He was my highest graded quarterback in the draft, and I'm invested in him for Rookie of the Year. But I think the book is out on him. Let's look at his first 4 weeks. Team was 2-2. He was 94 for 151, which is a 62.2 completion percentage, averaged 303 yards per game with a QB ranking of 100.65. Okay, those are the first 4. And he had 3 games where he went for over 300 yards. The next 3 weeks, the Texans are 1-2. He's 49 for 86, which is a 56.9 completion percentage. He's averaging 196 yards per game throwing, and having 2 games where he didn't throw for over 200 yards with a QB ranking of 84.84. With that being said, I think there's going to be some value in the futures market because he's at minus 175, and it kind of seems like people have the book out for him. Now let's look at these next people. We got Puka at plus 300. Stafford's hurt. Don't even know if he's playing. So if he's not playing, Cooper Kupp is back. That means he's not going to get the production. Next, we have Jahmyr Gibbs, 13-1. But he's always going to be a split backfield. He's going to have like a 2-week, 3-week stretch. But when Monty comes back, that's going to be a split backfield. Bijan Robinson's right after that, 13-1 also. But he's only getting 13 rushing attempts a game. Right after that, you have Jordan Addison, who is either going to have the rookie Hall from BYU or Dobbs throwing him the ball. I don't trust that. And Justin Jefferson may be coming back. After that, you have Achane, the running back from Miami. He's on the IR. He still has 2 more weeks when he's out. Then you have the player that I'm looking at, 28-1, and you mentioned the team he plays for. We're going up to Baltimore. We are looking at Zay Flowers at 28-1. He leads the Ravens with a 27% target share, 44 receptions, and 461 yards. If the Ravens make a push and have one of the top seeds and Flowers continues at this rate, and we see these other players trying to decrease, I think there's value on him at 28-1. And I think you should put a quarter unit on him to win offensive Rookie of the Year.
just made note.
I mean, I'm just saying, dude, I just think because the way people have to look at it is this, like, and this is when I made my Hutchinson spiel a couple weeks ago. If the Lions finish with the 1 or 2 seed, somebody on that team is going to win MVP, Coach of the Year, or Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think it's going to be Goff. It may be Campbell, but Hutchinson at 20-1 when we gave it out was too good to pass up, so we put a quarter unit on that. And it's the same thought process here. Obviously, you have Lamar, who may win MVP or Offensive Player of the Year. But if you have Zay Flowers, who's the leading receiver, and all these other guys trickle off, Houston falls off a cliff, the Rams tank, there's going to be value right there at Zay Flowers. So I think he's worth a flyer, man. High risk, low reward. That's how I'm looking at him, man.
No, definitely some value there. I appreciate the look for sure. I just made note.
Now we have switched over to my favorite part of the show, the betting thing. Real quick, cool Kev. The O-line stinks. Jimmy G is kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to figure out. Yeah. The O-line is bad. The O-line is bad and needs to do a better job.
You can tell. I mean, he goes it's his first read and then a sprint out, like get out of the pocket, like there's nothing there and I can't stay in here. That's just how it's been happening for him.
Now we have reached the part of the show where we're going to be talking betting. Johnny, you're the guest, my man. I'm going to let you kick us off. What is your first bet, my friend?
Well, I'm not really a favorite bettor. I learned a long time ago that I like to have two ways to win one bet, but I do like the Falcons this week. It's 5 now. I know that there is the factor of a team coming to rise when the quarterback is out, but I think it's too much for the Vikings to overcome when they already are missing Jefferson still. It's the Falcons in this spot. The line says it all to me. Obviously, the Vikings are coming off all these wins and look like the better team, but of course they did lose a quarterback. So that's kind of inflected in the line, but I see complete motivation for the Falcons this week. So that's what I'm at.
Oh, Jesus. NIU ball and driving. Bobby, dude, you're just full of good news, my friend. I hate the Lakers. Who's starting for Atlanta? I think they haven't really named one yet.
I'm not even worried about it, man. We got Koo, that kicker. Man, he's gonna win us the game. Just like that time I took Atlanta a couple weeks ago. They were like -1, and it ended up pushing. All you need is Koo. Man,
my first bet, and God damn it, you and I are a lot the same. I hardly lay points. I always take points. I love taking dogs, hence taking my CMU Chippewas today. But I have to do this one because I think the line's off. I am going overseas. I'm going to the early morning game over in Germany. Give me the Chiefs -2. Dolphins offense struggles when they're facing a top 10 defense. And when they face a defense that brings pressure, they also struggle. And they're going to be without Armstead and Wynn, who are both on the IR, which is the whole starting side of the left. So that means you have backups on the left side. And Robert Hunt, who's their right guard, he's hurt. He may not be playing. So you're playing against a team in the Chiefs who are 5th DVOA in defense and have the 3rd most sacks in the season. And you're going to be potentially without 3 starting offensive linemen. That's a big red flag for me. Tua struggles when facing pressure. And if the Dolphins can't establish the run, the big thing I feel that the Dolphins' success has been this year is they're running the ball 4.32 more times a game, which is taking pressure off Tua, which is allowing him to step back and do some stuff. When you have explosive players like H, that is easy to do. I think the Chiefs will be able to create pressure. I think they're going to be able to stop the Finns' passing attack. Now, these numbers are going to blow your mind, my friend. Mahomes as a favorite when laying 3 points or less. So that's where this would be. An insane 70% against the number. Mahomes, the thing about Mahomes that I've learned is as a big favorite, we fade him.
Right.
3 or less, we take him.
Right. It's funny. Someone mentioned he fixed it. Remember that Jets game a couple weeks ago? Yeah. He ran out of the sideline. He
didn't cover it. And that's the thing. He wins the games, but he doesn't cover it. And then I started looking at these European games. favorites are 59.5% ATS. Now, who plays the most games over there? The Jags, because they can create more money, because let's face it, they're going to be a European team probably in 4 years. If you take the Jags out of the equation, they are 65.4% favorites. So just by eliminating the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know Mahomes struggled, but he was sick. No one that's experienced daycare flu, I feel for you. Dude, you've lived a good life. Because daycare flu is the worst type of flu in the world from a kid. And he was playing a divisional dog. He was playing a divisional game, the divisional team the second time around. I think the Chiefs bounced back. Also, I saw this thing, what is it? I think it's like after a loss, when the Chiefs failed to score 20 points, Mahomes is like 15-3 against the number. Just an insane thing. But the big question is this, and C-Spirit22 just chimed in. Will Taylor Swift be there? You know what, Spirit? I don't know C-Spirit22. I don't know if these things, but it was kind of funny. It was trending on social media that this was just a PR relationship.
Yeah, I heard the same thing, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. But it's just kind of like the NFL has been an entertainment league-esque. Just that ref incident where they moved the ball back last week too was, trending everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a feeling on that. I want to take advantage of people's perceptions of things like that. I know everything is already baked into the line, right? Everyone thinks they want to be smarter than the line sometimes, but this line, I think you're right on in taking advantage of. It's one of those things where it's 2 because it's really a neutral field too, I think. And the Dolphins have a great perception of being a really good team. So, yeah, I'm with you here on the Chiefs.
INTCMU, that's going to do it, dude. CMU is going to cover that money line and cover the spread and the money line, which is important.
Nice. Let's just build the bankroll for Sunday, right?
Which is important to be. Next game, my friend, you are going to this game's in Philly, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, just a team that everyone is pretty much still selling, but is going to be right there giving it 110%. I feel like, if Dallas finds the D line to come back. Now, did they face a lot of dregs? Like maybe the D line isn't as good as it really is because of who they faced and when they looked good. But it's just kind of just a buy-on team still that's going to be giving it their all. That's going to make a playoff push still. I like just taking a team off of a home win like that too. In a way, they're all going to be they're going to be up for this game because it's kind of like they know that everyone knows that they should lose this game. So that's another thing with me and how I perceive motivation levels within teams is if a team thinks that they're the favorite and they know that they're the favorite, that's a letdown already. No matter if they think it's not, no matter what, that I think is a letdown all alone. But if a team knows that they're the underdog and everyone thinks and knows that they're an underdog, they're going to come and bring it their all for the most part, usually, especially in the NFL.
I'm not going to read this comment. I'll just put this up here real quick. Next, Hurts doesn't look right to me. Hurts, he's running like an old man. I really think there's something wrong with that knee. He's not looking to run the ball that much. We saw the tush push fail against the Commanders. And it just basically seems like the offense is just throw the ball up to AJ Brown.
It's a good team like that's kind of like in that mode of like they could be treading water now, just trying to keep along and maintain and get health. That's another thing that everyone always forgets about and they never think about, right? A lot of teams are one injury away from just getting knocked out of a run of being a contender. So, if the Chiefs lost Kelsey, if the Philly lost Hurts. Just things could flip flop so fast in the NFL like that, especially when we're halfway here still.
Sports Facts asks, top 4 teams in NFC. What do you guys got? All right, so let's do this. We'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. So who do you think the best team is in the NFC?
The Niners.
See, I'm gonna go Philly. I'm gonna go Philly 1.
Yeah, no, I can just no argument there.
I'm gonna go Philly 1. I gotta write my pen because I'm a visual learner. I am sorry, my friend. I'm gonna go Philly 1. Who do you guys 2?
I'll go Philly 2. I mean, that was basically was either or.
Okay. Who do you got 3?
Oh man. Dare I say the Lions? I mean, I think the Lions could beat the Cowboys. So, yeah.
I think they're about even. I think to me that's the biggest. Goff or Prescott, who's going to show up? And my thing is I think the Lions completely effed up the draft. If they would have drafted Jalen Carter, and could you imagine the defensive line with Jalen Carter, but he had that and Hutchinson, but they had that stuff.
They would look like how the Chargers looked last on Sunday night when just meet me at the quarterback.
It was just what could have been. My next bet is I'm going to Thursday night. I am taking the Steelers here. -2.5. If it's still at 3, I definitely like that. I know everyone watches these is going to say, Erik, what about Vrabel as a dog? Yes, I know he's 58.3% as a road dog. And we've made a ton of money on the show backing him as a dog. Hell, we made money last week backing him as the dog. But this is the same situation as we saw in week 3 when they lost to the Browns and were small dogs. The key number with Vrabel is 3.5. When he's getting 3.5 or more as a dog, 62.5% ATS, phenomenal number. But when the number is 3, he's only at 50%. And this is the key thing. When he's getting 2.5 or less, he has never covered a game, Vrabel, when getting 2.5 or less on the road. Flip side, my boy Mike Tomlin, coming off a loss, is 60% against the number. We talked about Will Levis before. Yes, he did look good. Better than I thought he would. But that was against the Atlanta Falcons. We need to remember that game was at home, and the Falcons defense has been struggling this season. They're 25th DVOA and 28th DVOA defending the pass. Levis is going on the road to face the Steelers defense on a short week. Steelers defense is 7th DVOA and 8th DVOA defending the pass. But the major, which is going to be a major step up for Levis, there's also tape on Levis, so they're going to be able to see what he can do. And the big news is my boy Cam Hayward is coming back. This Steelers defense is a top run defense in the league with Cam Hayward's there. Look, I know Pickett said he was going to be starting. I don't care. To me, there's no difference between Kenny Smallhands Pickett and Mitch the Truth Trubisky. I really have no idea who. I don't care is at the quarterback. I think the defense of the Steelers is just going to be way too much for Levis, especially in a short week. I'm going to take the small home favorite here. Another chalk. I hate it, but I'm going to do it. Give me the Fighting Mike Tomlins. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers here, -2.5.
I'm definitely with you on that one for sure, too. I had that written down on my leans list as well. You know, it's another team that's going to be in a spot where they're going to be completely motivated to show up, and they're at home. So I love taking teams like that, especially under the 3 right there. I'm sure there's going to be people buying on the other side anyway, and I don't like that side. I think the Steelers is the right side.
Cool Kev chimes in. Purdy is struggling. Spirit chimes in. See Spirit 22. Tom Lynn. Yes, that's my boy. Pickett needs to feed Pickens. It's kind of funny. Like, I've noticed also, I think the Steelers offense is a lot better with Deontay Johnson. Deontay works the middle a lot more. Pickens, to me, isn't the route runner Deontay is. Deontay can run pretty much every route in the route tree. Pickens is basically just throw the ball up and go make a phenomenal play. Cool Kev. Mitch Mossballs Trubisky. Dude, don't make fun of the truth.
Yeah, they lost that when he came in.
Don't make fun of my boy, the truth. Johnny, third bet. Where are we going, my friend?
The third bet. Yep. Got to go back Sunday night here with the Bills. Another team that if they want to still maintain any type of contender status, they're going to have to show up here. And it's a good spot to fade the Bengals off that Niners win, I think, and off kind of about the last couple games that the Bengals have been playing. Like I said, they're doing good. They need to do good if they want to still maintain a contender in my contender role in my eye. But I see this as a spot where you're going to fade the home team here. You're going to take a team that is in a complete, like, the perception of the Bills is like they're garbage now. They're not good. I just see them showing up here and kind of flipping the script. You get that trade. Hopefully he's gelled in. We'll see. That's just kind of where my eyes at with the line there, though, and how I see that game. I just see the Bills as being one of those teams that everyone's writing off, but are still going to be right there.
Yeah, I'll probably be on the Bills. I mean, I think this line could even move a little bit more. There's a lot of Bengals love, and we've kind of seen it every single week that a team is the talk of the NFL, kind of going back to the point you brought up earlier in the show. You fade them the next week. Right now, everyone's talking about, is Burrow back? Can the Bengals make a run? This is the time to fade him. And this line has moved 4. This line has moved 4 points. Bills opened up as a 1-point favorite. Now they're getting 3. This is some reverse line movement. I'm definitely going to be on the Bills as well. My last and final bet. Seems like we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens a lot today, but I'm going to be fading them this Sunday. I'm going to be taking the Seattle Seahawks here +6. One of the best moves that has gone under the radar that no one is talking about early in the week, Monday, no one's talking about, Leonard Williams of the Giants, defensive lineman, was traded to Seattle. That's a type of move that could take a team up the level. I'm not saying Seattle could win it all, but I definitely feel now Seattle could get into the playoffs and win a playoff game. Now, we've talked about this with Mahomes. Now let's talk about with Jackson. Jackson doesn't cover these big numbers. As a favorite of 3 or more, he's 41.5% ATS. When he's a home favorite of 3 or more, he's 38.7% ATS. Flip side, let's look at Pete Carroll. Carroll as a dog is 67%. As a dog getting 3 points or more, he is a robust 78% against the number. My issue with the Ravens is I don't trust Jackson to make the throws to the outside of the field. I don't trust him to make it to the outside of the field. He's gone over 300 yards once this season. That was against the Lions when they were missing 2 other top slot corners. So Jackson was able to attack the middle of the field, take advantage of there. There is a reason why he targets Zay Flowers, who are betting for Rookie of the Year so much. Flowers works the slot. He's in the middle of the field. I think the Seattle also is going to be able to run on this Ravens defense. You can run on this front 4. Seattle's offensive line is playing better. I think it's going to be a heavy game of Zach Cabernet and Kenneth Walker. Cool Kev chimes in. I'll let you answer this. Do you trust Geno Smith versus the Ravens defense?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that's a big number for Mr. Jackson to cover, and he's not really good in these spots. I think Geno is in a position of where he's good with the ball control and not turning it over consistently. I think that's why he really did get paid, is because he actually doesn't really turn the ball over. So, yeah, I do trust him. And, I would probably be with you on this number.
I think he's going to run the ball, lean on that run game a lot. C-Spear22 chimes in. Would you still take – I would still take the 5.5. I mean, I would wait, though, just because it wouldn't surprise me if it dipped back up to 6. It's kind of in that dead zone right now. I would want to wait to see if I could get a 6 later on, I think. I mean, let me pull up BetStamp real quick. Again,
yeah, that's one of the 3 bets that I've already taken. Those at worst, those lines, in my opinion, are going to maybe go to 3.5. And if they do, they'll get bought back to the 3 immediately. So that's why, as early as we are here in the week, I am super confident in giving out Bills +3, Cowboys +3, because I don't see that even going to 4. I see it maybe getting to 3.5 at worst. If it touches the 4, not a big deal, but that's where I'm at, and the confidence level on that too. I did like the Giants +3.5 as well. I wrote down the other night, and it's already down to 2.5. I see against. Damn, who was the Giants playing? I wrote it down. Damn,
right.
But they're
the Giants are they're playing Cool Kev's boy, the Raiders, man.
Yeah, that's why. That's now I know why I wrote it down. And that line getting eaten down under 3 is kind of like, oh no, maybe everyone else has got the same idea, right? But that was kind of one of those ones that caught my eye at first, because the Giants definitely are in a need to win spot still too. So
I'm looking at it right now. DraftKings, if you're in a legal state, has it 6. If you're like me and likes to play a little offshore, bookmaker has the 6 as well for Seattle. We talked about line movement, looking at BetStamp right now, just kind of looking the numbers. It wouldn't surprise me if this gets to 2.5 with the Bills. If the Bills,
it very well could. That's what, most confident picks are the Bills, Cowboys.
Would you play the 2.5?
And the Falcons, because the Falcons at worst to me was going to go to 5.5 or even touch 6, and then it would come back the other way. But in terms of bets that I'm confident in that I've taken and I'm giving out right now on this early of a day, it's definitely those Bills, Cowboys, and the Falcons, where I know the lines aren't going to be in disarray come Sunday.
Would you play the Bills though at +2.5, or is 3 your cutoff?
I'm not sure, because I already have the 3 on that, and I guess in a way it's like a long-term thing where if you're going to take any spread under 5, you might as well take the money line too. A lot of the times. Yeah. So there is that factor, but right now just staying on the 3 is kind of like where my head's at with that, and it's so early in the week. I wouldn't even touch under.
Like, because I'm looking at it right now, hypothetically, like most of the legal shops have it at 2.5. So if you're watching this right now and the 3 is out here, would you suggest they just wait to see if they can get a 3 like later in the week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would take it still.
Cool Kev chimes in. He's going to parlay the Falcons, Bills, Seahawks, and Raiders. A nice little 4-teamer parlay. Best of luck on that, my friend. Johnny, dude, been a blast, dude. Almost an hour talking shop with you. I've enjoyed every single minute of it. We're going to have to talk after this is over off the air, find out the next time when you can come on and everything. Why don't you give everyone your plugs again? Tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Thank you so much as well. It was a pleasure. Like you said earlier, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Action Network at Tahoe Better, one word, all undercase right there, as you can see on the screen. And I will be back to X as Tahoe Better. I am there now, right now, as Johnny Sports 41, but I had an incident. We got my other old account suspended for some reason, but I will be back there eventually. But you can mainly find me on Instagram and Discord right now. But yeah, great stuff. Thank you so much.
Bobby, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for keeping us up with CMU. That's cool, Kev. Appreciate it. Good show, gentlemen. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Seaspear22. Let's make some money. Sports facts, the whole 9 yards. Appreciate you, all you guys. Make sure to give my boy Johnny a follow at Tahoe Better, and we'll be back next week. Let's cash some tickets. Let's make some money. Until next week, boys and girls.